Top 10 weekend waiver wire stashes. Before we get to this 10-pack of players we're going to discuss here, if you want a chance to win a signed Derrick Henry Tennessee Titans jersey, courtesy of our friends at Pristine Auction, you need to subscribe to the FantasyPros YouTube channel right now. Comment below on this video, and that's it. That's all you got to do. We'll be announcing a winner right here on the channel. Turn on notifications so you can be alerted when new episodes are up and to claim your prize. Let's get to the players. All right, first player on the list, and we're going to go through a bunch of streaming options at the tight end position. First guy I got to talk about, Tyler Conklin from the New York Jets. Top 8 in snap share and route participation. He has seen a 16% target share that is 15th amongst tight ends with some red zone work. Last year, this week, he's going up against the Cincinnati Bengals, who are 24th in DVOA against tight ends, allowing the 7th most receiving yards to tight ends this year after 2 games. Tyler Conklin might not be a sexy name, but what we want out of tight ends is red zone work. He's getting it. To get work in the passing game, he's getting that too. And to run all the routes. Tyler Conklin is checking a ton of boxes. It might not be a sexy name, but guess what? The production is sexy, and he could fall into the top 12 tight ends in fantasy any given week. Pick him up and stream him as soon as this week. Number 9, staying on the tight end wagon, Hayden Hurst. He's 12th amongst tight ends with 17% target share. He is 4th in route participation. Again, what do we talk about Tyler Conklin? We want tight ends that are running routes, involved in the red zone. Look at that. Hayden Hurst, 2 red zone targets, and he has a plus matchup against the Jets. On a high-powered offense like the Bengals, he's established himself as the 3rd option. He has usurped Tyler Boyd, higher target share. Weekly, as soon as Joe Burrow gets back to being Joe Cool, Hayden Hurst could go through the roof, and the upside is huge. He doesn't have to be efficient if he's going to garner this type of target share, volume, and just the context of the offense. We saw Dawson Knox do it last year. Why not Hayden Hurst this year? Number 8, Sterling Shepard. Again, we're talking about names that might not be sexy, but we love good production in fantasy. And Sterling Shepard, he's the discount Jacoby Myers. He's the guy that's getting a ton of targets. Right now, quietly, he's the wide receiver 37 in fantasy, seeing a 26.9% target share, 30% targets per route run. It doesn't have to be a glittering name to score his points in fantasy. Sterling Shepard could be the number 1 in this passing attack. Kadarius Toney is still dealing with injuries. Wan'Dale Robinson is out. Kenny Golladay has been benched. I know we were worried in the offseason about the Achilles, but Shepard is showing, much like James Robinson, that might not matter at all. So top 40 wide receivers hanging out on the waiver wire? Yeah, you need to be stashing him. Okay, back to the ugly tight end bucket. Evan Ingram coming in at number 7. 12th in targets, 10th in target share. Now he gets a matchup against the Chargers, who are allowing a lot of receptions. They're 6th. 5th in receiving yards as well. Evan Ingram, again, might not be a great name just to plug in your lineup or to stare on your bench. But he's a player that if he falls in the end zone in any coming week, that 5 for 40, 6 for 37, those ugly stat lines, you add a touchdown on top of any one of those, it's going to end up, he's going to be a top 10 tight end. So follow the volume all the way to Evan Ingram. All right, we have to talk about Logan Thomas. He was on last week's video. He's going to make it again this week. Comes in at number 6. Logan Thomas, the reason he's not higher on this list is because I was hoping his route participation went up. It didn't. He's still hovering in the 60 to 70% range, which isn't fantastic, but the matchup this upcoming week against the Eagles, zone-heavy team, they have top 12 marks against receptions and receiving yards allowed to tight ends. Logan Thomas is a player that you could plug into your lineups right now. And look, we only have a 2-game sample. We can't say that his route participation doesn't continue to climb. We're thinking that happens. The more he plays, the healthier he gets into the season. And we're seeing efficiency out of Logan Thomas. He's 13th in yards per route run. Sign me up for another tight end candidate that could give you top 10, top 12 production in any given week. Stream the matchups and buy into Logan Thomas. Number 5, we've got to talk about Greg Dortch. Rondale Moore is looking like he's not coming back anytime soon. Maybe a few more weeks before we see him on the NFL field, and that means it's still Greg Dortch season. He's been wide receiver 29, wide receiver 22, and so, yeah, I think he's playable this week as a low-end flex as a wide receiver 3 because that's what he's been producing as. 15.7% target share. Greg Dortch is somebody that you can pick up, plug and play for as long as Rondale Moore is out. And until we know when he's coming back, it is Greg Dortch season. Number 4, and again, we are chasing routes, we're chasing target shares and efficiency. Corey Davis. He's only seen a 14% target share, but this Jets offense has been operating at a top 5 clip in pace and passing rate. Those are the things that we want to see when we're looking for players to plug into our lineups, get onto our rosters, and maybe in a stretch or a bye week, get into the starting lineup. Davis has seen a 38.2% share of the team's air yards, and that is fantastic. He's getting looks down the field. He has the report from last season from Joe Flacco. Amongst wide receivers with 10 or more targets, he is 24th in yards per route run, 28th in PFF receiving grade. Don't sleep on Corey Davis as a possible flex play in any given week. Number 3, and by the time you might be tuning into this, he could have already exploded against the matchup this week, Tyler Algier. Tyler Algier only got early down work last week, but you know what? For a player that could get 10 to 15 carries in any given week, Damian Williams is out, Cordero Patterson's usage is all over the map as the early down grinder for the Falcons in an offense that's kind of surprising us. And with a matchup this week against Seattle, who is bottom of the league in adjusted line yards and second level yards, they are 8th in rushing yards allowed per game. Tyler Algier could have himself a game, and you need to pick him up now because once he does that, he's going to be the talk of the town for waiver wires next week. Get ahead of the curve on a player that is below 25% rostered in most leagues. All right, we're staying on the running back position. Number 2, Jordan Mason. The fact that he is this low rostered in leagues, I'm seeing below 10%, below 15%. That is absolute insanity to me. He goes up against the Denver Broncos this week, who have been pretty abysmal versus running backs. 26th in open field yards. They're top 12 in explosive run rate and rushing success rate allowed. Mason is a player that all we're going to do is roll him right into the Tyrion Davis-Price role. Well, Tyrion Davis-Price saw 31% of the team's carries last week, 15% of the red zone work. As a player, again, I'm talking about double-digit touches and red zone work to boot. If he gets into the end zone, he's going to fall into the top 36 of running backs. I know the efficiency wasn't there, or at least, the last time we've seen him. But in the preseason, he was productive. 14th in yards after contact per attempt, 23rd in PFF elusive rating. Just because the man's been playing special teams does not mean that he can't roll back into the running back role for San Francisco and be extremely productive for us. All right, number 1, the head honcho, the king himself. He is still below 50% rostered in leagues. He is out there on waiver wires, and that needs to change and change fast. Treylon Burks. His route run rate increased from 38% to 63%. You could be watching this video, and he could have already crushed the Raiders. 21% target share on limited snaps. He has top 5 in the NFL marks in both yards per route run and targets per route run. As a player who's getting targeted anytime he's on the field, and the snaps are going to do nothing but go up inside of an offense that needs, screams, yearns for a number 1 wide receiver, that could easily be Treylon Burks. Pick him up now, and you're looking at a possible wide receiver 3 for the rest of the season. Enjoy. All right, everyone, before I get out of here again, we are giving away a signed Derrick Henry Tennessee Titans jersey, courtesy of our friends at Pristine Auction. You need to subscribe to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel right now. Comment below on this video. That's it. That's all you've got to do. We'll be announcing a winner right here on the channel. Turn on notifications so you can be alerted when new episodes are up and to claim your prize.
Thanks for tuning in to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel. Don't forget to check out our featured videos. And while you're at it, make sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at FantasyPros, so you can get the latest news and updates to give you the edge you need in your fantasy league.